and welcome back to another Let's Build. Today we're just going to continue on in Willow Creek and get a start on the next build. So let's move on over to the map and I'll give you an idea of what I'll be building today and kind of what my plan is for this next build. So we are continuing on in Foundry Cove and you can see our last build over here, which was a tier 2 tiny home. And we are going to be moving on to this lot, Crick Cabana, and we are going to make this a tier 1 32 tile tiny home. So let's get started. So this is what we're working with EA's base game build. It's definitely not too bad. There's a little bit of weird spacing, but it's just not going to work for our purposes. I really want to make this a tiny house because for my own gameplay, I really like to use tiny houses, so I want that to be an option. There will be a lot of different lots you can choose from, but I want to make sure there is some tiny homes. So let's go ahead and bulldoze this. And get rid of the terrain paint. And let's get started. So I still want to go with a Queen Anne kind of style build. So I want it to be a little ornate and just have like a little something special. I'll put up some pictures of what my inspiration kind of is for this build. Now I want this to have a pretty unique shape. So I really like this pop out at the front. And that gives us 32 tiles. And let me just change this over so we don't have to see that the whole time. And now, of course, we have to move on to some roofing. And let's go ahead and tuck these in. And last but not least, we'll just cover this up and tuck in the flaps again. Okay, so there's the basic shape of the house. I think I really like this for the kind of Queen Anne style, sort of interesting, unique, quirky house. So let's get some detail on. So first thing I want to do is add some wallpaper. So I think for this house, I want to go for a green. And I'm going to change up the roof trim. And I'm going to change up the roof texture for the scalloped roof. I think that looks great. And now let's add some green details. So for the Queen Anne style, there's spandrels on everything. So I want to add a spandrel here to the entrance, as well as a column. And of course we need a fence. There we go. And let's go ahead and raise up the build and add some stairs. Okay, I think this is looking good, but of course we need some windows and doors. So I'm going to go ahead and grab those out. So I like these windows from base game for this area, and I'm actually just going to raise them up one. And then I'm actually going to use this door from Nifty Knitting, and I really like it in the orange color. The orange and green I think works really nicely together. And this space here is looking a little empty, so I'm going to add this trellis in from high school years. And I'm going to change up the foundation to have this green color to just make it blend in a little better. And I think we could use a chimney for a little bit of balance on this side of the roof. And I'm going to use these windows from Get Famous on either side. And lastly, I'm going to use this window from My Wedding Stories. Okay, so that's the house finished. And now we're going to move on to some landscaping and just figure out what to do with the rest of this land that is left. Okay, so I have the basic layout of how I kind of want the yard to look. You can see I'm going for a pond and this kind of terraced yard where I raised up the terrain just a little bit. And so now it obviously needs some landscaping, some terrain paint, all of that. So I'm going to get started on that. I think what I want to start with is some terrain paint just to get an idea of where I want things to be laid out. I think I'm going to use this terrain paint from Get Together. Just connect those stairs up, and then I want to kind of have a patio space. I think that's a good amount of space, and then I want a little area down here as well. Okay, and over here I want to have a little garden area. So I think I'm going to use this white picket fence from Strangerville and just close this in. Okay, let's see how many garden beds we can fit in here. Okay, so we can fit 6 in, which I think is a good amount, and let's just see how that balances. Yeah, I think that looks nice. So I really want to do like a walking path through here with some cute garden stones and all of that. So I'm just going to darken it up a little bit. So I'm just going to put some of the finishing touches on the terrain paint, and then we can move on to getting some plants down and really making this look like a yard. So first thing, I'm going to use this bush from Get Together and just place it all around the exterior of the build. I feel like this bush is perfect to just cover up like that awkward bump that's left and where it's pretty difficult to snap anything into that terrain. And it will just kind of blend it into the world a little bit better. But as you can see, it is floating, of course, so we need to use the tool mod. Let's bring that down 1. Okay, that gives us a good start. So now we need something right here to kind of cover up that awkward space, and I'm going to actually use a rock. And I think I'm just going to use this base game rock. And we'll move it over with the tool mod. And we'll add one more. Okay, now that we have that space filled in, let's definitely start to get some plants down that will work with the pond here. Okay, so I pulled out some plants that I think will work with the pond. So I'm just going to go ahead and start placing them around. And we are going to have to use the tool mod. Let's bring this down 1. Perfect. I think that it's floating just a bit, it looks like. So let's bring that down 0.1. Then we'll use some of this grass and 1 over here, but I'm going to size it down. And then maybe 1 size down right here. And I want to add in a little color with this plant. So I'm going to put 1 on either side, 1 over here. And then I want to add a little bit of different color with this one. And let's change this to orange so it matches in with the door. I think that will be really cute. Awesome. And then I want to kind of add a little bit of detail up here as well. So one of these plants, so it kind of looks like it's sitting on the rock. We got to bring that down. And maybe one of these kind of up here. And a little bit here. I want to add a few more rocks in, so I'm going to use this rock stack from Outdoor Retreat, and we have to bring it down with the tool mod just a bit. Okay, so now I want to add in some bushes to kind of cover up this area, and I pulled both of these out. So one's more of a rose bush, and this, I don't know actually what kind of, a daisy, it's a daisy bush. Yeah, so I want to size them up and see if I can kind of scoot them in, but I'm not sure which one I want to use. I actually think I'm leaning towards the daisy bush, so I'm just going to get rid of the rose bush. And we'll kind of set this in here, bring this over here. And if you are wondering, this is from Cottage Living Debug. So it is technically free. And I actually think we'll need a little extra. Kind of have to put these right next to each other. Spin that around. And 1 more here. Yeah, okay. So now I'm just going to use the tool mod to scoot them in. And then I think to kind of add in some more detail. I'm just going to put a few smaller ones at the front. And actually all of them I could scoot in just a little bit with the tool mod. This is why I love using the tool mod, because I get to just adjust things exactly where I want them to be. It's so nice. I highly, highly recommend it if you enjoy building in The Sims. So I think we have a good start on some of the landscaping, but I definitely want to kind of blend them in a little bit. And I want to add in a mailbox actually before I forget. So let's see what we have in mailboxes. And I was thinking, since we use the nifty knitting door, it might be nice to use the mailbox. So I'm going to see if it comes in an orange color. Okay, I don't like that. So I'm going to stick with just a Willow Creek mailbox. And let me just see what side I want to put it on. I think over here. And we'll just add some flowers to blend this in a little bit. We'll add one to this side as well. And I think we could also use a fern. I'm going to add in some of these daisy bushes around the garden. Okay, so I think that adds a little bit of balance between this area and this area, but we still definitely need to add in some more landscaping. So I'm just going to kind of use what we have and fill in these gaps here. So I'm going to start with a fern. Actually, before we finish up doing the plants, I want to add in some trees. So a tree there and a tree here. Then maybe one tree in the back corner. And I think this tree from Get Together adds a nice little pop of white and just some more kind of flowers. Awesome. So I think that's looking good. And now let's kind of fill in the rest with plants. Okay, so now I'm going to add down some of the paving stones. Now to add just the finishing touches, a few decor items, things like that, a place for the Sims to sit and eat outside, because I don't think we'll have room for a table in the actual house. So I think this simple outdoor table, and then I'll do the matching chairs. I think that looks nice, and we can kind of set it on an angle. I'm going to grab out a few other items to kind of clutter up this spot, and then I'll have a better idea of where the table will go. Okay, so I have a couple items pulled out, and I'm just going to kind of put them into place. So these two objects are from Cottage Living Live Edit, and I think they add just a little bit of detail that we need. And then this is a werewolf's plant that I think I want to keep right there. And maybe we'll kind of put the table here. We could add in a planter here and add in the telescope right here and just put the bike over by these bushes. And I feel like we need a little something over here, so adding in another one of these pots. And last but not least, we need to grab out a garbage can and put it in the back. Because this window placement back here is a little odd, I want to add in a trellis to kind of disguise that. So we'll just put 2 of those from high school years, and then I think we could use some greenery over here. Perfect. I forgot one detail that I wanted to add in, just to add a little bit more visual interest. So I want to add in these corbels. I just learned they were called that. And move them with the tool mod. This one I'll rotate this one 45, and the other one I rotated -45 to get them to sit flat. So I just think that adds in a little extra detail, and definitely makes it look a bit more Queen Anne style. This was heavily influenced by one of the pictures I showed earlier. And now with that being finished, our build is done, so we can move on to the interior. Okay, so let's get this layout figured out. So I think over here I'm going to put the bathroom. We're going to do an elevated bedroom. And then we'll go for a tiny kitchen here and a tiny living room. And I think there'll be just enough space to put in a desk. So let me elevate this. Recently, I made a TikTok where I put the bathroom next to the kitchen and people were not happy about that layout. I didn't realize it would be so controversial. So hopefully everyone finds this acceptable with the bathroom going into the bedroom. We'll see. Okay, so let's try this. See, I think I want to go a little higher, so there's a bit more separation. Yeah, let's try that and just have a little bit more separation between the kitchen and the bedroom. So now I'm going to get some flooring down and just put down some basic wallpaper. So for the flooring, I think I want to use this brown, or maybe the lighter. Yeah, maybe we'll do the lighter kind of orangey color. And for the bathroom, we'll use this tile from high school years. Actually, I think I want to use this tile on the walls. So let me just change to a plain kind of white tile to carry that over. Yeah, I think I want to go for that. Okay, I think I actually want to go for this light kind of bluish tile. I think that will look really nice. Okay, so for the rest of the build, I'm just going to put down this white wallpaper and we'll change it as we kind of figure out the color scheme. And I'm just going to add in, change the color of that rail to white. And now we need some lights. We definitely need some lights here. So we'll put one there, one in the kitchen, one in the living room, one in the bathroom. And it seems like we need a second one in the bedroom. So we'll do that. And then lastly, let's take care of this little piece and change this platform so it's wood instead of concrete. Okay, cool. So I think we have a good place to get started after I grab a door. I think I'm going to use this door from high school years. And I think I'm going to get started on the living room so the couch can kind of give me an idea of the colors I want to use. So I really like this idea of this really eclectic chair from Movie Hangout. I think that could look really cool. But I am trying to make this a starter home, so we'll have to see if I can afford that at the end of things. But I think that gives us a really good place to start. So now we need a console table. And I'm actually thinking of using the dresser from Werewolves, if there's a swatch that works, and sizing that down just to add to the eclectic feel. Okay, now going into debug, I'm going to grab out this vintage TV from Eco Lifestyle and just raise it up and use the tool mod to move it onto the dresser. And I think I'm going to add in this table from Dream Home Decorator, just to the side since there's not enough room for a coffee table so your Sims have a place to put things. I'm going to go in with this base game lamp and just put it right next to that side table. And we definitely need a rug, and I'm going to use this one from Nifty Knitting that you can find in debug. And I think that just adds in a nice extra color, and it's 0 simoleons, which is great for a starter home. Okay, we definitely need to put some plants by these gorgeous windows, so I'm going to move that in over there. And then I think a hanging plant would be perfect over on this side to kind of fill in that space. And I think we'll leave this here. We might come back and decorate it up a little more depending on how many simoleons we have left. But with that, let's go ahead and go over to the entryway and just put a few items down to make it look a little bit more inviting. So first I'll do a rug, and I'm going to use this rug from Cats and Dogs and just size that down, scoot it in. And I'm going to use this new item from Everyday Clutter. I love it for small spaces. I think that's perfect. And I think I'm actually going to put a mirror here as well. So I'm just going to scoot that down. And I think the green complements nicely with the outside. So now we can move on to this space where we can definitely fit in a desk. Oh, so we'll use this desk from Werewolves. And I think this wicker chair from Paranormal will look nice. And we'll try to fit in a computer, but I don't know if we'll be able to afford one. So we'll keep it there for now. And we definitely could use a curtain, so I'm going to see what we have. And I think to bring in some of the orange from the front door, using this curtain from Base Game will look really, really nice. Okay, let's go ahead and move on over to the kitchen. And we'll first start off by getting a fridge. I think maybe I'm going to even use the green fridge to match the green kitchen. And then we do need a stove. And this stove actually just fits in, so I think I'm going to go with that. I think that looks nice in this build. I'm actually going to try something over in this corner, and I'll have to play test to see if it's usable. But I'm going to see if I can't flip the fridge around and kind of scooch it into the wall just a bit and see if this will be a usable space. I will also put the sink over there. But there's a chance we might not have a sink in this build, just so there's a free countertop. But for now, I'm going to give this a try and we'll decorate around it, but that could change if you download this from the gallery. I really want to use this item from Tiny Living. I think it will add in quite a lot without me having to spend a lot of simoleons, so I'm going to go with that in the kitchen. I think I'm going to go ahead and go for this tile from Jungle Adventure to add a little bit of that orange color, so then we have that green and orange continuing through from the outside of the build to the inside. And I really like the kind of fun pattern mixed in with this pattern on the sofa. And I think I'm going to use this bed from Cottage Living. I think it brings in kind of a vintage flair while still having that green kind of color that I'm going for in this build. And I'm going to go with these side tables from high school years. I just think that it also brings in a little bit of that vintage flair and it doesn't cost too many simoleons, which is perfect. And actually we need a curtain before I get too far along. So I know it's going to take me a minute to find the perfect curtain, so I'll be right back. I think I have to use this curtain from Movie Hangout just to match in with the sofa. And I think it looks great with the bed as well. I think I like adding in this sconce from Cottage Living to bring in some light to the bedroom. But also, again, I want that vintage flair to come through with the more eccentric patterns. I just really like them as a combination. We could definitely put an alarm clock up on the bed. I think a small plant would look nice as well, so this vase from Paranormal. On this side, we'll put some books down, and I'll add a little greenery over here as well. But I'm going to hide the face so it's facing the wall. Then I'm just going to use the tool mod to scoot these back. And I think this rug from Strangerville will look really nice with all the items we've added in. And I'm going to use these curtains again from Movie Hangout to cover this window here. And I actually think then that will be a little bit too much pattern, so I'm just going to swap this out for the orange curtain over here. And then we won't have so much going on. And while we're at it, might as well add the curtain to the kitchen. And I'm just going to use this Base Game 1 size down and in the orange as well to bring that orange color throughout. I think we have just enough room to squeeze in this dresser from high school years. And I love the little detail of the plants that really match in well with the bed. And I'll add in this mirror from Eco Lifestyle, so there's just a full-length mirror so your sim can like check their outfit and all of that. And now that means we can move on to the bathroom. For this space, I'm going to use the sink from Cottage Living and this bathroom mirror from Base Game. And we'll use these lights from Base Game. Scoot around. And we need to put in a shower, so I'm probably going to end up deleting this window here. Or actually, maybe I'll just scoot it over. Yeah, we'll stick with that for now. I might end up deleting it. But let's go ahead and put in a toilet. And of course we need a toilet roll, and we'll actually use the old one. And I'm going to delete this window, I just decided. And I'm going to use this shelf to stack some towels on. And we'll do some green towels. All right, that looks good. And then we'll put maybe a plant on the top of the shelf. This plant from University is perfect. Okay, so then we could use the towel hanging on the wall, and I'll just use this one from Spa Day. And then we need a hand towel as well. And we'll use this one in green. Okay, so now that we basically have everything a sim might need, let's see how we're doing on simoleons. We still have about 1,700 simoleons to work with, so we can definitely add in a few more decor pieces. But before we get to the decor, I do want to add on some wallpaper, and I know that's going to take me a while. So I'm going to come back to you and you'll see it all wallpapered up. Hopefully there'll be a bit more color in this build. Okay, so I just went for this base game wallpaper, and I really just wanted to add in some crown molding and some light color. I like this kind of beigey color on the wall. I think it reads as light orange in this build, which is perfect. And then I went for white for the rest of the build. I tried a few different colors, but I just feel like for what we have in here to pop, really needs like that white backdrop. So now we can add in a few more decor pieces, and first I want to upgrade the computer, and we'll just use this laptop from Strangerville. Then I think I want to add this sticky note stack over there, and maybe have a mug out on the other side. I think we definitely need a little something on the walls here. I think this fox painting from Tiny Living works really, really well up here. So I'm just going to use the tool mod to make it look like it's leaning on the wall. So to do that, I'm just going to rotate it just -5 degrees and just scoot it out like that. Then it looks like it's kind of leaning on top of the desk. And also from Tiny Living, I'm going to just hang up this little succulent planter. I think that works perfectly in that space. And this area definitely needs a little bit of a painting. So this sunflower one from Base Game, I think in the green frame is really cute. And I do want to size it up just a tad. So we'll put 1.2 with the tool mod. And then we'll use this vase from Paranormal to add a little greenery to this side table. And I also think we could use a stack of magazines. So we'll use my favorite stack here, and I do want to size this down and place it just a little bit off center. Perfect. And then we do need some curtains here as well. So I think these kind of sheer curtains from Desert Luxe will fill in the space really nicely. And actually, let's keep one open. And we just need to get in this extra curtain rod. So with that, we have just enough simoleons to add in a few items to the kitchen. I think this tin will work perfectly. I'm going to add in 2 of them and size one of them down. Then I think this small vase of lilies will be just a nice addition, and I'm going to move those over. And then near the sink, we need a little something, so I'm thinking 2 options. So one idea is we could use this dish rack, and another idea is using the tried and true wall decoration from Laundry Day. This one here. And I do think I prefer this one, so I'm going to go with that. So we need a little something above the fridge, and I think this bucket will work perfectly to add just a little bit of detail. Then maybe a basket as well. So I think I'm happy with the level of decor we have. Let me check on how many simoleons we have. Hopefully we haven't gone over. Perfect. Okay, so we just made it. I think this is a perfect place to end it. So this is our final build. So that's the second build in the Simmered Save file, completely done. Thank you so much for watching and joining me in the build process. It's a lot of fun to do this kind of video with you. I'm still getting the hang of it, so definitely expect things to sort of change over time. But with that being said, stay till the end to see the final shots of the build. And with that, I hope you have a great day, a great week. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!